And we're live. Recording now.
There we go.
So how's it going, Rob?
It's going good. Beautiful day. Just,
It is. So we're doing a podcast at the cabin today with me and Rob here.
Where are we exactly located? I know we're somewhere in...
I'm not telling people that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're on the continental United States.
We're somewhere in the Puget Sound.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
There we go.
Because it's fucking beautiful out here today.
Beautiful.
Phenomenal.
This is the first time I can honestly say I've ever woke up, went on a walk, and then a couple minutes, half hour later, actually went and dug for some clams. So
Right.
I'm interested on how that turns out.
It'll be good. Maybe later we'll do we did a fennel one time, fennel and white wine over linguine.
Yeah.
Was the shit.
Fennel's like the licoricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We probably won't do that because that means we have to go to the store, which, by the way, me and you have to go somewhere later. There's a butcher down the street. We have to go and get some jerky.
Oh, nice.
Because it's like the best fucking jerky.
What kind of jerky?
The best.
The best? It's not like rabbit jerky? Or
No, it's beef. They've got beef. But yeah. So what is this? This is episode 5, I believe.
5.5 or?
Yeah, episode 5.5. I'm just gonna call them 5s.
And then the one we did that was the promo one would be like
that wasn't
just
an episode.
a 0.5. That was just like
that wasn't. I consider 0.5 the one that Tony did.
Nice. And there's that lol.
Tony's dick. I brought it up again.
Was that? But the thing was that officially like 15 seconds into it.
Yeah. Yeah, the very first podcast we started talking about some guy's dick, and now I want him to come back on the podcast, but he thinks I don't love him.
Oh,
he's weird.
Sound is cutting in and out. Is that?
What do you mean?
Like the sound is cutting in and out
of your headphones?
Yeah. Like when you're talking and I'm talking, and
is it just sputtering? Maybe.
Yeah.
Let me check something.
Hello. That's better.
Still doing it?
Yeah, I don't hear you. Oh, well, you're not talking to you.
Yeah.
It was you were cutting out and I was cutting out.
But is it working now?
Yeah.
Good.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was just a headphone issue, which is good.
Now I feel like, you could be like, there was some movie where the guy, like, it was... One of the Lowe's was in it, and they got into the guy's denture or like in his tooth and put a microphone, and they were like talking to him and telling him that they were God and all that stuff.
What the fuck?
It was a movie with like Rob Lowe or Chad Lowe, and then like what's his name was in it? God,
Kanye West.
No, same genre, same but older. The guy who played Iceman in Top Gun.
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer was in it, and he was the guy that lived in the closet. Or there was one, it was him, and then there was another scientist that lived in the closet. And they were like, they went to some college, and they were like scientists, and they were building, the government was trying to get them to build a laser.
Oh, I fucking remember that. That was way old.
And there was the guy that was like the TA that told on him with the blonde hair, kind of German looking guy. And they put, while he was asleep, they put like a microphone in his crown, so they could talk to him and like mess with him. And they're like, this is God, like you need to stop touching yourself. And like
dude, that movie is dope. I specifically remember just like that green laser that he makes that beams through all the walls and through the statue and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good movie. What was that called?
I have no idea. Like that'll come to me like halfway through.
It was one of the good terrible movies that Val Kilmer did.
Yeah, but that's like the 80s, like a really true 80s like movie.
Well, that was Val Kilmer's whole shtick was the 80s and early 90s. He was a thing. Yeah. I mean, Top Gun and Batman were the best things he ever did.
Let's just leave that at Top Gun.
You don't like Val Kilmer's Batman?
I don't like any of this is a good subject to talk about. It's like I know nothing about comic book history, so I can't. I just have an opinion, a strong opinion on Batman, but I feel that Batman, like, I think they should get an actor that no one knows, because honestly, like, Batman is like this mysterious like guy, and I get when he's Bruce Wayne, you want like this attractive actor or like George Clooney, but to me, like, George Clooney is like a comedian, goofy guy. It's like, I don't
the worst fucking Batman.
It's like, I don't want to know. I want Batman to be like, I feel like in the Batman movies, when they're strong, it's when the bad guys, with Jack Nicholson or the guy Heath Ledger, when those guys are strong in their delivery of the bad guys, I feel that's what shines in Batman.
Yeah.
I feel Batman should not be the primary character in the movie, in the sense that, like, it is about Batman. I get it. He's like the superhero and he stops these guys, but to give him like a personality and to have the guys talk like this the whole time, like, it's just like, no, dude, if he was just like more chill, more quiet. And it was like, I like movies when you don't know who the actor is.
How do you feel about Adam West?
Like the original Batman?
He wasn't the original Batman.
Or what I know as the original Batman. Adam West, like, he wasn't to me, I didn't know him anything other than Batman.
Yeah.
So it's not like they took, to me, he may have been an actor that everybody knew, but to me, like, I didn't know him. It's not like Adam West was like in Hee Haw or something and then they put him on Batman. It's just like, to me, I've always known Adam West is like Batman. The reruns or whatever I watched, you know?
Yeah. I watched a lot of that Batman, but then when Michael Keaton was Batman, Michael Keaton defined Batman for me.
Yeah.
Like the all black, the leather, just a fucking gangster Batman.
I didn't mind Michael Keaton as much as Batman for some reason, but I just feel like now they're just taking the top dude or like whatever. And it's like when one of the Hulks came out and they got the Australian actor, to me, like, I didn't know who that guy was. And it's like him versus, I love Edward Norton, don't get me wrong, he's done a lot of great films.
I did not like him as the Hulk,
but I didn't even watch that one because I don't buy him as the Hulk. Like, he's already too much of a personality to do that. And it's like, I felt like one of the things that makes X-Men so strong is that, the guy, what's his name? Who's the actor that plays Wolverine?
Hugh Jackman. I
mean, Hugh Jackman's been in a couple other stuff, but I feel like he kind of, to me personally, he kind of blew up around the time he was doing X-Men. And so to me, it wasn't like, oh, Hugh Jackman is like been in all these other movies. Now they're, casting him in this. To me, I found out who he was through that. And maybe that was just my personal experience why it was more special or it wasn't as cheesy.
Yeah. I was a big fan of Hugh Jackman before he was Wolverine too.
What did he do?
He had a handful of movies that I really liked.
Because I know he did some, like, that one...
I've been drinking all morning. I can't even think about what they are.
It was now, like, though. I don't know if it's Sense and Sensibility, but didn't he do some kind of, like, love thing or something like that? Yeah,
he did, like, a couple drama ones. He did a couple other good ones.
What is that weird... movie that he did where it was, like, a bunch of different like stories spliced up, and then wasn't he like on a date and he had like the balls on his chin or like on his neck? And they were like,
was fucking horrible.
And they were dipping like in the soup or whatever he was eating. It was like so bad.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah,
I can't remember. We were watching something recently, or not recently, but within the last couple of years, where it was like there was this action-packed movie and there was a chase and one of the guys ended up in a theater, and we got to the theater, Hugh Jackman was on stage like playing a role in the theater, and he was like, whoa, what are you doing? This is we're on set here, we're trying to do this. And the guy's like, who the hell are you? And he's like, Wolverine. the guy's like, what? And he goes, wah! And does that thing, but he's in like Shakespearean garb. It was fucking great. Oh my god, I had never laughed so freaking hard at a movie.
I think randomly, so a lot of this is, today's podcast is going to be a random wormhole of conversations.
Yeah, less art, more bullshit.
And one of the things and we can talk about art, but one of the things I thought about is, so isn't it Grey's Anatomy? There's like the McDreamy guy. Who is that?
Never watched a single episode.
He was in Can't Buy Me Love, and he was like like 16 Candles type actor, but that's like everybody probably knows who he is. But anyway, he was in some play that I saw in Pasadena, and it was just weird to see like these. It's like Patrick Dempsey or Patrick whatever, and anyway, just it was weird for me. I was never, when I lived in LA, I moved there in '98 to go to school, and I never was like a seeker of celebrities, but just to go into Pasadena Playhouse and see somebody that I saw in real movies, like on TV, was like a new experience to actually see them acting like in a play.
Yeah.
And to be like, wait, that guy's like kind of famous. Like, why is he doing like just a play? Like, it's weird, to go into like, oh yeah, they're like real actors and they like to do Broadway stuff and, roles and shit like that. So,
yeah, I understand. I mean, we're I've had very few run-ins with celebrities. Actually, no physical run-ins that I can think of. But like, I've seen a fuck ton of celebrities just on the street and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like we saw Tobey Maguire in Ballard one time.
Wow.
Yeah. He was filming some movie after Spider-Man, but there was that. We were in LA, and I was like, all of a sudden this motorcycle rolls up to a stoplight, and I look at it, I was like, God, that bike's dope. I was like, I feel like I've seen it before. Like, that bike is fucking awesome. And then I looked up, I was like, oh, fuck, it's Dee Snider. It was his bike from the West Coast, not West Coast Customs. What is it? Count's Customs.
Explain to the audience and me who Dee Snider is.
Dee Snider?
Yeah.
You don't know who Dee Snider is? The lead singer of Twisted Sister?
No.
No?
No.
You never saw Dee Snider's Strangeland?
No.
He directed a movie and acted in it too. Holy fuck.
Is that like Rob Zombie, like movie? Like the weird stuff he does?
It was pre-zombie style movies, I think. I could be wrong there. I don't know. I'm sure someone might correct me.
So I didn't run into Tobey Maguire while he was filming. I actually walked through, like near Belltown, like downtown area near 3rd. I actually walked right past the sign and walked right into a filming set. Looked down and like, the Lori Petty, the one, she was in Point Break. And she was in the baseball one with Madonna. And I had the biggest crush on her, Tank Girl,
Yeah.
And like she was like bald, like shaved, and she had like a gun, and she was like down there like badass. And I'm just like, in art school, I'm probably like 19 years old and like dumbass. I was like walking right through this like production set and like look across the street, and there's like all the grips and cameras and director and everything, and they're like, that bastard just like walked there. I was like, I don't know.
You're the dude that walks on scene, oh fuck, and then walks off.
Yeah. But my favorite celebrity story, like, was just special to me. Just
if you would have just looked down and kept walking, they might have paid you extra money.
Yeah, that'd be like, get my little credit. Yeah, I tried to stay away from being on camera in Hollywood as much as possible. I don't believe in it. It's not what I'm meant to be on the earth, and it just kind of.
You're on camera now, brother.
Yeah, but this is different. This is not like.
This is just two people chilling.
Yeah, this is two people chilling. Like, I'm not. I've been around, I had friends art directed videos, and they're like, do you want to be an extra? And I'm like, no, I'll carry camera equipment. Like, I don't want to, it's not what I'm about.
Exactly. I came out of that idea of, I knew as a kid, I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to move to LA or Hollywood and be in movies and shit like that. I'm like, I'm not that kind of person, but when it came around to like knowing all of you artists and starting to realize people, and I'm like, I noticed that one of the primary things that I noticed is a lot of artists are very introverted.
Oh yeah, definitely. We are like, so it's like us in IT. Like, there was no program. I have, before ADD and ADHD and all that stuff, I was hyperactive, but I never shut up. So it's like
you're not that old to be before ADD.
Well, before that was like a common, it wasn't
overdiagnosed.
Yeah, term wasn't thrown around. I mean, I don't remember anybody in my classes like ever being talked like that.
Wait, how old are you?
40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
4 decades.
Not
right?
bad.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not centuries yet.
Fucking Gandalf. I'm 4 centuries old.
Thou shalt not pass. You're out there.
I am.
Yeah.
Refill time.
Yeah, what are you drinking over there?
Oh yeah, that's a good plug here.
You like that segue?
I do.
Set that up like volleyball setup.
I am drinking my friend Kevin's beer from Global Beer Company, also known as, I think he just changed it to Good Beer Company. I could be wrong, but it's phenomenal. This is the Hash IPA. If you ever get a chance to look them up and find some, it is fucking delicious.
Yeah,
He's got a few other beers that I truly adore, like a Paradise IPA. It's made with a very specific hop and yeast and malt. But
why is the hash in there? What does that signify?
The Hash IPA is they kind of process hops the same way that they do marijuana to make hash. Mm-hmm. They extract the oils out of it, and those oils are what makes the hash. So it's just a block of like this green, almost wax. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like I just want to drink that.
It's not drinkable. It's edible. It looks like a bar of soap.
No, but I want to drink that. I want to drink something that's not edible. This is like my...
Yeah, so he's got that, and he's got a beer called Something Dark. It's kind of a stout. Oh my God.
You've been teasing me on the air about that. And I'm not a petty person. I am gonna mention for 5 seconds that you didn't bring it, because you told me it was out. But
I fucked up.
But this is kind of an impromptu warm up to, a
bigger, better scheduling.
Yeah, because this is just like, hey, I thought this was a great idea to just like sit out here and BS a bit. And
dude, I've stayed off the air for like a week with just me being busy, helping out Mallory, doing stuff at home, doing stuff for other people, and I kind of faltered on the podcast thing a little bit, and also was having a hard time getting guests in because everybody was super busy with art shows and stuff. So, but this following week, I feel like I might have a really good lineup. Yeah. I know I've got a musician lined up.
Oh, nice.
Lead singer of a band called Joyfield. Mm-hmm. She is her name is Ellie. Phenomenal human, friend of the family kind of thing, but also amazing band.
Yeah.
So I got her, trying to get Kurt, and then trying to get
Cash.
Yeah, trying to get this lady that does some crazy like jewelry.
Cool.
Oh, we getting seagull noise?
Yeah.
Nice.
As long as they don't. We talked about last night, for you viewers that missed the pre-unrecorded episode about Granville Island in BC, there are seagulls that when you go outside and you have food or not food, they attack you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, if you see me running off camera, tripping over all the wires, it's because seagulls are bombing on us.
They won't attack you here.
Oh, no.
They go after all the clams.
But the
I would love to see one on video.
Yeah.
Fly up and drop a clam.
Yeah. The audience doesn't know that, so that's true. If they know that there's some imminent danger, they know that we've put this podcast out here under some kind of duress. We're actually this should be not a deck, but like a cliff where the sand is slowly deteriorating.
This is a cliff. We're like 6 feet from a fucking cliff.
That's awesome.
To the ocean.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's very cool.
I dig it. It's a big
So kind of to flip the coin on you, to do a little bit of reverse hosting, you said you were busy helping Mallory. What kind of stuff you guys been up to with the whole...
I was just helping her with her festivals that were coming up.
Yeah.
And then, doing a little traveling back and forth to the studio and getting things out of there.
Because I ran into you guys in West Seattle. That was a great weekend Seattle for you guys.
Phenomenal.
Great neighborhood, great festival. A little bit smaller than the Fremont.
Well, the West Seattle Summerfest this year was bizarre because I noticed a lot less artists and more just commercial vending.
There's a lot of that. And to me, that's not what it's about.
It sucks, but it brings in money, It's a good thing for the festival, but it sucks when the festival overdoes it.
Yeah, it's great when you're bringing kids there, because when you bring a camp of kids there, you can just be you can occupy them because they'll get 5 pairs of sunglasses and a Frisbee and
a bubble blower and shit, and you spend $18 per kid because they have to get hot dogs.
When we take the kids there, we spend nothing because there's it was even a booth one year where they did the nice face painting for free. They did everything for free with the kids, and there was some organization, and then they'll have the Y there, and you do a minute of exercise, and you spin the wheel and you get a t-shirt. So there's all, not just the banks, but people they would give stuff away. But my favorite, you would love this, is there was, I don't know who was one of the vendors, and they were educating either on pro or anti like abortion. They gave out these little rubber fetuses. So like the camp rule that finally became you are not allowed to grab one because like parents weren't happy, but either they would bounce and or they would catch them on fire with fireworks, or I don't know what it was, but the kids would get a hold of them, and it was like, all right, we have to be like, that's the bottom line. You go get sunglasses, but
there was a booth handing out little rubber fetuses, and you didn't fucking grab me one. I would have that on a necklace.
I didn't see it this year. I didn't
fuck.
I didn't see it this year, but they were there every year, so it was a tradition that the boys would always grab one. But my favorite thing is they get their face painting and they're so excited and stuff, the kids and stuff. But when we do face painting for kids or they get it, my favorite thing is when they decide to just get a black beard or a mustache, and I find that hilarious because it's just you'll have a kid and they'll just the full on pirate Fu Manchu or curly mustache or a full beard, and it's just so cool that they're yeah, that's what I want. I want a beard. I don't want a butterfly or a basketball or
we went to the fair when I was a kid, and I did the pirate thing, and they painted a whole patch on my eye. Nice. They had me close my eye and they put an eye patch on, and I was wearing a tank top, and they put a parrot on my shoulder, and they put a beard all the way down my neck. Dude, it was a killer setup. I was like, yeah, I'm pirate as fuck. They put little gold streaks on my ears that look like earrings. I was like, nice. Yeah.
My advice to you, since you have family offspring, but anybody out there that buys face paint, go to a costume store somewhere and buy good face paint, because if you're not reading the labels, I've gone to drugstores and bought face paint because we're out of face paint for this event, and you read it and it's they have these pictures on the packaging, and they have these examples of full everything by the eyes and mouth, and then in small print it says, don't paint by your eye, don't get this in your eyes or near your eyes
don't
or
put
your
near
mouth,
any orifice.
And so it's
do not inhale fumes. It's bitch, it's a mustache.
it's great when you can be yeah, I don't want to spend $20 on face paint, but then when your child is sick,
don't skimp on your kid's health. Is what we're saying. It's
and also don't use poster paint, because I've been to an event where they did full face painting with poster paint and it wouldn't come off.
Oh fuck.
And it was one kid straight up, this girl did Groucho Marx eyebrows, and it was hilarious, and mom was trying to wipe them off, and then this other volunteer comes out with a beautifully done cheetah full face, and I was that's not coming off.
no the full face stuff is definitely don't skimp on what you're putting on your kids, what you're putting on your kids or in your kids. I would never, I try really, really hard to not feed my kid garbage. He's not eating boxed mac and cheese. He's not eating almost anything with preservatives. And that's not just a choice that I made. That's just I don't feel comfortable putting that crap in him. It's because I can moderately afford for the number one thing is mac and cheese is cheaper to make than it is to buy. 100% of the time. Kraft mac and cheese, if you want to make the same similar thing, it's cheaper to make it. It's cheaper. All you need is noodles, milk, and cheese. And and you buy this package just because it's supposedly easier, which it's almost exactly the same amount of time and effort. But it's just full of all this shit that your kids don't need to eat.
I didn't eat mac and cheese, boxed mac and cheese, till I was probably 18 or 19, because I had a friend that grew up on it, and then that was the thing, is we would go to the store, and it's it's kind of like that lemonade stand mentality. It's you can buy a meal with $1 and buy your mac and cheese, because you know that whoever your parent or guardian is has the butter and the milk, so you don't factor that into cost. It's just when kids do a lemonade stand, they're we made all this money. It's yeah, but you didn't pay anything for any of your supplies. And
my son goes hard with a lemonade stand. We make lemonade. We don't buy powder or nothing. We grab lemons and sugar, and we make the shit hard.
You guys don't serve iced tea? You don't have that's not iced tea.
No iced tea.
It's lemonade.
It's not iced tea. We might put ice cubes in it.
Yeah. Nice.
That commercial's awesome.
Yeah, I love that commercial.
Iced tea? No, it's lemonade, fool.
Yeah. But so yeah, I think the thing as far as, you know, like it's always interesting, like, you know, what you grow up with and what families and, you know, different, a lot more people, the word organic or the word like more free range things. And, you know, like, I think it's good to kind of build some of that into your kids because they're going to have their choices and they're going to break out. But like I had that moment like 5-6 years ago where I was like, I'm going to cut out drive through or like major fast foods.
Dude, I've been like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like my one drive through like exception is taco time.
Yep, same here.
And
every now and then.
And then like, you know, since we're in the Washington area in Seattle where I live by and work is Dick's Drive-In.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
And
Dick's.
so that's the one burger, you know, and I do burgers at every other burger place, like, you know, but I just don't do the major fast food chains, and it's because my lifestyle, I already like I'm bad like relaxing and, you know, allow myself to take breaks and stuff, but I was eating on the go in my car all the time.
Oh, it's so gross. When you see that pile of bags in your passenger floor, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
I have it bad enough just stopping at coffee stands.
Yeah.
I'm like, I see like 4 coffee cups on the ground. I'm like, God damn it, that was like $20.
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's like, how much would it cost me to make that?
Yeah.
And it was like, all I have to do is get a coffee pot that actually has a set to it, and then do it at night. And I'm like, and that's less time than I would spend sitting in that goddamn drive-through at a coffee shop.
Yeah. My problem is the breakfast sandwiches at the Green Coffee Devil. That's the that's the ones, like, I know those are bad for me, but it's like I try to, you know, breakfast. It's my favorite. I'm going to throw my favorite "That's What She Said" moment. I was at a supermarket buying some food, and the person at the supermarket, the checker, she was like, yeah, so, you know, getting stuff. I was like, yeah, I have a long day, and, you know, I want to make sure I get breakfast. And she said, it's good to get it in first thing in the morning.
Yeah. That's what she said.
And I just heard, like, my friends that say that all the time.
Yep.
Like, people that, it's funny to meet the people that are like, I'm more mature, like, or I, like, their mature factor is pretty high, or like what they let happen or what they do in their life. But then there are those people that love that what she said. Yeah, there's a small human unit walking around.
Why are you pointing?
What do you see?
Yeah, there's a child roaming around on deck right now.
Yeah. Is there
we need some policing here.
Yeah, is there a sea otter? You want to do a quick pause?
No, I'm good.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
It's just a little.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing.
There's 2 herons just chilling out here, and you can't see. Someone's holding up these pipes.
Oh, the heron's on the dock.
Yeah, cool.
Hmm?
No, they're just waiting.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys.
that's cool. It is all good.
He's trying to be quiet.
That's okay too.
That's very good.
Yeah, dude, we're in the epicenter of amazing wildlife here. It's not like, you know, South America type, but here we have crazy big kingfishers and osprey and giant fucking eagles and all sorts of shit. And it's killer.
I lived with the kingfishers for a weekend.
Nice.
I, like, bonded with them and shared a cliff or rock with them.
Man, shut up.
No, I did. I mean, I was camping, and it was the most, like, I'm a glamping. I grew up, we always had camper and, you know, car camping and stuff like that, tents and stuff. So to actually have to, for all the people that are, I give you kudos or props for having that built in, that you love to put everything in a backpack and walk for miles and go stay in some place where you have to dig a hole and do your business and everything. But the first time I did the thing where I had to walk to my site, and we were literally at Doe Bay on Orcas Island, and we were on this rock on this cliff, and there was literally like a rope. That was it. So if you were a sleepwalker, you should not stay there, because you'd get up and you literally like trip over that rope and like fall into the water.
Yep.
And, like, hurt yourself or die or
Yeah,
whatever.
it'll wake up real
Yeah.
quick. Like, oh, fuck, I'm drowning.
Yeah, but that's
Or
like,
did I piss myself again?
yeah, so it was cool. And then the kingfishers, like, we went there twice, and 1 year they were there, and then next year they weren't. But yeah, they would just like come out, and you could watch them fish, and it was like, I love nature. I mean, it's like, I'm a city kid. I don't consider myself, it's weird. Like, people are like, you live in the city. It's like, I don't consider myself a big city kid because I didn't grow up in like Chicago, New York, or like, you know, like.
You say that, but it's Seattle. It's also a big city.
It is a big city, but you know, people like.
People don't consider it a big city because it doesn't have the hustle and bustle of big, nasty, big cities like LA and New York and Chicago. It's a very chill environment here.
And I grew up in the city limits, but what I think is like when people live in the city, it's like if you are in Seattle and you live like in Belltown and Capitol Hill, I feel like you grew up in the city. Like if you're in San Francisco, you live in the city, or New York and you're in the city and you're living in an apartment and you're downtown, I feel like that's living in the city. Me living in a neighborhood in Seattle, I don't feel like I grew up like in the downtown city, you know, like.
But where did you grow up? Like shoreline area? Or?
No, I grew up in like what's considered Wedgwood, like Lake City, Northeast Seattle. Like,
yeah, that's
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's kind of like you know, if you're from San Francisco, it's very similar to Vallejo, but Vallejo's more. I mean, you know, there's San Francisco and there's Oakland, which is like Seattle and Everett. So then there's.
Yeah, I always stayed in Oakland or Berkeley when I stayed in there, and then just like barted into the. That's a new verb, barted. Barted into the.
Yeah, it's a good one though. I like the Bart.
It's better
Bart's
than
pretty rad.
sledding into, right?
Yeah, that's true. Down here we have the South Lake Union Transit, or what other people call the slut.
I like ride the set better. like that works.
That's a good one.
That's good.
I'm glad they didn't do like a city union next traveler or something.
Yeah.
The cunt. How'd you get here today? I rode the cunt.
We were on, God, where were we? We were on Vashon or one of the ones, and we were looking at a map, and my friend at the time had Ride the Slut t-shirt on, and we took a picture at Tramp Harbor.
Nice.
And Tramp Harbor is like a dock. That's,
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and yeah, it's
There's like 4 oysters and a dock, a fishing dock.
I don't even think I knew, like I know 2 things about oysters, and one of them, well, I know people eat them raw and they're aphrodisiac, and I know that but I watched a TV show on oyster farmers and how the process was done, and you know how they do that, but then seeing the oysters here was that's the first time I've actually
seen
seen
them
someone
lacerate your foot.
Yeah, that was fun this morning. Yeah, like I think like forget all this Ragnar and like what's the other one, Spartan. I think they should literally have an oyster bed and then just have the top athletes run across barefoot across
Fuck that. That's savage as fuck. The Barnacle 5K.
because it's like I don't care. I think you could tune out some like coal, you know, when they walk across the coals and the fire. I think you can tune that out. I don't think you're tuning out running across them like razor clams that are like oysters.
My God. I want to do that now. The Barnacle 5K. You have to run on a fucking low tide beach, and you have to get to point B before the tide comes up. Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
No, let's make it a 10K. That'll make it more interesting.
I just think
Let's do that.
honestly, 100 yards across some barnacles or some
Maybe not
oysters.
barefoot. We could have people run in like their 5-finger verbrums or whatever.
No, I'm straight up thinking like 100-yard dash across some
because
oysters.
even in shoes, by the time you get through 10K in fucking shoes, the barnacles will fuck your shoes up.
Yeah.
You will have holes in them and holes in your feet. I mean, if you're doing it barefoot after 5K, you're going to be nubs.
No, I'm talking 100 yards.
Oh, 100 yard.
100 yards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just 100
dash.
yards, full on, like the one that cut me this morning. Bring him out. He's got to come out. I'll go find him. I know exactly where he is. He's sitting right there, like pointed straight up. Like,
You want to eat that motherfucker?
no, I don't. Like, I don't. I think that was like, there's certain things where like, you know, when you stub your toe, like you're mad, you know, and it's
But you're
like
not going to eat your end table.
Yeah, but like when this, like I was like, dang, that hurt, but I wasn't mad at him. I'm just like, you're
Doing your thing.
You're doing your thing, and I'm in your territory, and I was dumb enough to walk across you with my bare foot. I'm like one of those ones where like we were talking last night, like I get mad about people.
But then again, this guy almost got eaten by sand.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I didn't get eaten by sand. You went further deep than I did.
That's true. Yeah, there's like quicksand out in this fucking bay here, and you step on it, and it takes you down to the knee within a second.
I definitely know, like, I can count. If I was a cat and had my 9 lives, I definitely know where I spent them, and that one wasn't one of them. I mean, it wasn't in any kind of danger.
True, but when you're knee high on water and it sucks you down to the waist, oh man, that's a terrifying feeling.
So my favorite, this leads me into another random thing, is like my favorite like online post was like the pictures of some old movies, and it was like one was Wonder Woman or whatever, TV show or whatever, and it's like shows a bunch of characters like protagonists or people in quicksand, and then the quote is like, what is it? It's like, I thought that like quicksand would be like
more prominent
in my life, or like more of a danger in my life than, you know,
but I've never actually seen it.
Because that was one of the things, like you grow up and you see like a movie and someone gets in quicksand and you're like terrified of quicksand, when in 40 years I've gone in the mud, but like never once had to like.
Would you look at areas like in South America though, they have quicksand like in the middle of the jungle, which is legit. And
that's no bueno.
And it's like a puddle, and you think you're fine to walk through it, and then when you do, you're fucking your belly button deep in that shit, and it's eating you.
You know what freaking scares me, and it was also probably, unless I go to like, you know, Egypt or whatever, or like somewhere in California, is like, you know, they have those movies like Lawrence of Arabia where he's like in a horse, and then the horse gets swallowed by like the sand.
By the cat's eye? Yeah.
What's a cat's eye?
A cat's eye is an area of the sand that is conical downward. And once you get into the bottom of it, the more you try and climb out, all you're doing is burying yourself more.
That would just be no good to be like in sand.
I've ridden dirt bikes through a cat's eye, and it scares the fuck out of you, because going down, all of a sudden you get this really quick zip, and then once you hit the bottom, it's full bore to get out of it. Yeah, it's terrifying.
That's not good.
And then you start getting ballsy and doing it more often, and the more you do it and make it through, you fill a cat's eye in. But like when they naturally happen in nature, it's fucking scary, because people have lost trucks in cat's eyes. Yeah, your whole truck gone, and there's no getting it out because it's buried under fucking sand.
Yeah,
you gotta hire like a construction crew to come out with cranes and excavators and shit on public lands. Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, those are fucking nasty too.
Yeah,
cat's eyes, quicksand, and like whirlpools. Like a good whirlpool, when a river hits an ocean kind of thing, or a big lake, and it creates this big tide pools in these little rocky areas that have been there for hundreds of years, and there's like always rope and shit that says don't fucking swim here.
The tide is like a crazy thing, because I've gone there, like been in Florida and like been like swimming, and then like I start at one point, entry point, and I literally like end up like couple 100 yards down the beach, and it's like, that's the thing, is like those tides where you get stuck on a sandbar, or like all that stuff, like you really gotta, and it's like, you know, swimming, like you could have like the greatest swimming skills, but if you're trying to, like, nature is like, thing is like, it doesn't have any remorse, like it exists, it's powerful, and it's not going to apologize for what it does and what it's able to do. Like it does.
Speaking of tides,
yes.
Do you know one flaw I ever saw in Castaway?
In the movie Castaway?
In the movie Castaway.
What about it?
He never had to deal with any tidal issues. I mean, you saw him go out, and he was like spearing fucking lobsters and shit like that, and fish. I'm like, just wait. Like, just wait for the fucking tide to go out, and then they're just sitting there.
But I thought that don't, like if it was daytime and a low tide, wouldn't a lobster be like hidden? Like it wouldn't just be like...
What they do is when the low tide goes out, they swim out. But quite often they get caught up in these little rock pools and coral pools, and you can just walk out and grab them.
I felt like the only tidal issues he had to deal with or maybe it's not it's the tide coming in, it's the waves was getting past that point, so you can get into open water and
yeah, if you're planning on traveling out to sea and you're on a fucking homemade raft, probably wait for low tide. Because as you can see, low tide's a lot less, as the tide's going out, it's a lot less vicious than when it's coming in.
Yeah.
Because the coming in is an influx of water. The gravity from the moon is causing the tide to come in. So, yeah, it's like if you're going to go, fucking go when tide is going out, not when it's all the way out. Just wait for it to start going out and then hop on and go.
Yeah. Did he deal with, I was trying to remember, did he deal with a shark when he was on that raft? I don't know why that came up, but
I don't remember. You see this whole shit about Shark Week right now? What's going to go on? Michael Phelps is going to race a great white shark.
To do what?
Right, to get fucking eaten?
Like he's not fast enough.
Well, he is. Great whites aren't that fast. They're quick attackers.
Maybe I'm thinking like Mako or something that's like the faster one.
They're not like jetting through, but they're quick attackers is what they are. So I think they're going to do a thing where they test their times from one spot to another, but
I think they're actually, so Shark Week, I actually was at a movie theater and rarely go to the movies, but I think they're actually going to do Shark Week at the movie theater. Mm-hmm. But they were talking about like, the one Shark Week thing I saw, and they were talking about like seals, and they were showing like basically like these sharks would go swim out super far. There was really deep bay where the seals were, and the sharks, great whites, would like go straight out, and then they dive like really deep and then come into the bay and pop straight up and grab the seals.
Yep.
And it was nuts because
it's where they breach.
Yeah.
Yeah, when sharks breach, they breach fucking hard.
Yeah. And so they had they tagged a shark, and they had like the camera on a torpedo type thing following the shark doing this. And that's why but the tracking system and then the video on the torpedo thing, the camera was separate. So what happens is the thing was following the shark and doing its thing, and then they pull it up and they notice there was damage on there. So when you're showing it in the show, they're showing it real time, but they didn't know until they were able to, look at the video that one point a great white came up, grabbed the whatever, what do you call it?
Oh, the camera torpedo?
Yeah, the camera thing, and bit into it, and then said, okay, this isn't Flasher, this isn't a seal, I'm taking off. But it was just cool to see that like disconnect, like you can see it in real time because they edit it, but when they're doing their like process of tracking these animals or doing whatever, they have no idea what's going on. It's like, God, that would suck. Like you're just like, the shark's not trying, they don't care about you, but they think you're something else, and that's why they think you're a seal or they think you're something else, and they're not.
You've seen how they test the shark breaching? They take tires and they cut tires into the shape of a seal, and they pull that.
Is that like a...
What the fuck is that noise?
It sounds like, what's it called? Like a cricket, but like...
It does.
There's something like a bullfrog, like in the... For those of you who are not in studio with us today, there's like some bullfrog that's grabbed a third mic and started croaking in our... It's like a purring cat.
Do you have your phone on you?
Yes, I do.
Is it ringing?
No, it's not.
Move your mic away.
Go away.
All right, folks, we're going to pause and try and figure this out real quick.
Well, Pong would be... I guess Pong would be Atari as well.
We can hear us now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So this is round two.
Round two.
The mixer overheated. It's fucking hot out here. So we had a little issue. Had to throw it in the refrigerator for a minute. Went for a hike on the beach, and we are back.
I'm glad you covered for me because, like, people will notice the wardrobe change that I made. So it's like...
You made a wardrobe change?
Yeah, that was why we took the break, so I could change shirts and...
Oh, into the exact same shirt, just less sweaty?
Yeah, it's like, you open up my closet and there's like the one shirt.
Nothing but Seahawks shirt.
The one shirt, the one pants, and like, yeah. That's why I tried to live like a cartoon for a while.
That's a good idea. I like that too.
All right, so
I was about to actually start filming without shorts on. I was just gonna sit here in my undies.
I mean, no one would know. They always had the jokes on like the newscasting shows where like the guy would wear the jacket and the tie but no pants.
Yeah. Oh my god, that sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
So we were talking off camera, just to get into some art. Let's see where that takes us for today.
You gotta blurb that out and then stop while I'm drinking.
Yeah, it's like I realized like
sabotage.
When you're having dinner with somebody like or lunch and it was mainly teriyaki, I realized you can never ask a question or like want to talk right before the salad portion when you're taking a bite of salad, because you can chew rice and like chicken real fast, but salad that takes some extra chomps and like you're basically, why the fuck did I just start a conversation before I bit into some salad? Because now I'm gonna be chewing for like 10 minutes. And
so more about the art world.
Exactly. You got to keep me focused. It's like I need to have like the conversation blinders. I need to have cue cards and be like, just read from.
So for those of you who don't know Rob or don't know me for that matter, we're in the same studio.
Yes, we are.
We both have shit up on the wall. His is extremely beautiful and dedicated and well done, and mine is afternoons of woodwork.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I wish that.
Dude, your shit's phenomenal.
Thank you.
As soon as Mallory brought up that one time that you came and saw her at West Seattle and invited her to the collab, and I was like, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. And then like we looked up your art right then, and it was like I was fucking awestruck. And then I've seen your show down at Access Pioneer. That was fucking amazing. I didn't even know. Like I it's like having a second roommate. Like, I know this guy. I kind of live with him in the same space, art-wise. Not realistically. But you have way more art than I thought you did. You have so much.
Like, just so if you put it on the scale, like, I'm not quite like Claudio Duran, who was in the
who knocks out a piece a day.
Yeah, it's like
that dude's a gangster, by the way.
So it's like a piece a day, and then it's like this consciousness, like, you know, people. When I paint, I just put a little bit out at a time, paint at a time. I'm stingy, and I know it's going to dry out. So he's got some way to make the paint live much longer. And anyway, he has that magic, and so what he does is, so he's like, I don't want to waste paint. So we've been talking about this, and Claudio, this is now you're called out on social media that you
Claudio,
have to do
I want you on here.
Well, not just that. I'm not calling him out that, but he has to do the show, and what I'm talking about is, so he uses the excess paint to paint on the back of the painting that he's painting on. So each painting like has a drawing or another painting, and sometimes the painting on the inside of the cradle of the canvas is like he considers, or it is just literally better than what he's painting on the other side.
Are you fucking serious?
So yeah, so
I've never even seen that.
So he literally needs to get, have someone make him some shelves or some mounts that can adjust or whatever, but just have them like, come out from the wall horizontally or whatever the direction would be, vertically or whatever, but just so you could walk on and see both sides of the painting. Because it's like, it's like a lot of people that one of my favorite things is when I saw Picasso's show, somebody took pictures of one of his biggest paintings, Guernica, and just to see the process of what the underpaintings or what people decide to paint in and out or whatever of a painting, but just the fact that Claudio, a lot of people, it's like they buy a painting, but then they get this surprise when they take it home because they realize there's another beautiful piece of artwork on the back. So you get like 2 for 1.
I will stand by. I love the fact that you said Guernica, because like my favorite song, one of my top 5 favorite songs ever is Guernica by Brand New.
Yeah. It's I know a little bit about the history of why he painted the painting, but it's been, an influential piece because you walk in Spain and you walk into this gallery and you're just in front of this painting that's 20 feet and it's, it's like beautiful and Picasso-esque and everything, but.
So.
Yes.
As you're talking fine art as Claudio's, we were approached one time, or I was approached while I was covering Mallory's booth at an art festival, and we had some guy that came up and said he loved her tiger piece.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, it reminds me so much of the tiger in Paris. And I was like, what the fuck? What tiger in Paris are you talking about? He said somewhere deep in the Jewish corner, I think it's Jewish corner, in Paris, there is a tiger like sculpture or painting. I don't remember, but he said it was like exactly the same. And I was like, fuck. It's like, now I got to go to France.
Well, that's the thing in like France and Europe. What I realize is, is you sit in sometimes in these. I'm going to say the word queue.
Have you been?
Yes.
You dick.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, I was in.
He's well traveled.
Now you screwed me up. I was somewhere in Italy. That's not Venice and not. I was in Florence, and we were waiting like for the Fiji. Like it's like 2-hour wait. You're sitting in line.
The queue.
And in queue, and this guy next to us was talking about this one painting by Pontormo, and it's like I remember just because, first of all, my art history teacher looked and sounded like Dr. Ruth.
Nice.
So imagine like going through like the Renaissance era with somebody talking like this and like you take the penis and you put it in the painting. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like Dr. Ruth is teaching me about art. But anyway, yeah, that's the thing is this random church, like, 5-minute walk away, had this painting that was in my art history book. And that's when I realized, like, some of this shit is, like, off the beaten track. It's like, And that's one of the reasons I believe that a lot of things came into fruition. Like Picasso's works, a lot of his stuff is that not geometric, but it's a squared out kind of like prismatic style of. Well, it's cubism.
Cubism. Thank you. See, I'm not an art.
No, it's fine.
That's why I'm here.
Well, there was him and Cezanne and a couple other people that I'm probably like jumping over, but like, yeah, that's the thing, and a lot of people like.
And it was outside of the norm for the time, and people could see it and recognize it as what it was, though.
And that's the thing is they were discovering something. They were like, and it's like a group of artists that like go through, stuff together. It's like they were having conversations about art and they were deciding to create art that was different. It wasn't realistic.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is some people, unless you've been to Picasso Museum or one of his, traveling shows, a lot of people don't know he's classically trained. He was somebody's apprentice at one point, and his like figure drawing and his realistic portraiture is on point, like with anybody that, but he's not known for that because he's known for, other people who are helping cubism, but that's like, what you think when you see that style.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about taking on an apprentice?
I have. I mean, it's weird. I have good relationship with a couple artists that we kind of, when they need help with stuff, or whether it could be like, I'm
talking about somebody that's college bound and they're in college right now, studying for an art. Oh, black squirrel.
Yeah,
studying for an art major.
Yeah, I know some people have asked for them and then other people have like criticized them. I don't know. I would like that. I don't know how much I have to teach. I mean, I guess I do, but yeah, I mean, it'd definitely be nice to like when you're prepping a show, the one we did that's going to be up till September till September at Access Gallery, the one that Claudio and I worked on. It's like people like don't understand, like even to extent like frames or like canvases you paint on. To get them up on the wall, it's like you have to prep them, gesso them if they're not pre-gessoed. And then you paint your painting and you do that. Then you paint the sides and you frame them or you don't. And then you put the wire in the back. Because bottom line, I've tried to not put wire and then someone closes a door or hammers another painting in and they fall off and it's not worth it. But anyway, you're doing all that extra stuff. And it's like, yeah, it'd be nice to have somebody to be like, hey, I need this kind of nails and this, and this. Can you go to Home Depot? And it's like, yeah, you're using that person to help do some of the busy work.
You're talking about the utilization of a.
But they learn because I had to learn all that process at one point to go, what kind of nails are good, what kind of stuff was preferred. It's all personal preference, but I'm just saying, I think just being around another artist and knowing what kind of brushes to use, or what kind of brushes can work, what kind of paints. I've seen people paint with the crappiest brushes and the crappiest paint, and they make it look better than I would with really quality stuff. But I'm just saying, it's all, I think, I would love to teach. I wish I would have had what was in me to teach, but teaching is different. I want to teach to people who want to learn and sponge up any experience that I've had, that I can help them kind of get over the bumps of being an artist or whatever, all that stuff.
But you're kind of already there, though. You have your job. You work with children and help them, and it's kind of a community center camp kind of thing. Yeah. You help influence a lot of stuff. If you applied some of that towards a teaching position,
I'd want to do
the
it more.
Money's not great in teaching, but once you get up to college level, it's phenomenal because colleges are fucking overpaid.
Yeah, I think I could do college level, or not that I'm qualified or whatever, but I'm just saying I would like to do college level, or I like to do an apprentice where someone's learning as I do. I think, like, as far as, I don't know, it's weird, like, depends on some of the things, like this show space. Access Gallery used to be the old Elliott Bay bookstore, and I'm jumping around, but the reason why is because, like, I had this big grand idea. You got 40-foot ceilings, brick walls, like beautiful lighting, beautiful like ceilings, big place, and now it's like I just wanted to fill the place with like sculptures and things and installations and all that stuff. But you almost do need that apprentice or that team to help you build stuff, because it's like, I don't want someone painting my paintings for me, and that's no dig or whatever, but it's just like, that's the part I enjoy. But it's like, there's certain things like, if I had more money and also people, a bigger team, you can create those bigger ideas. Because it's like, I don't know, maybe there's one or two people out there that have created Mount Rushmore type things by themselves, but usually it's like, people are creating big installations. They have people, they oversee the design, they oversee something, and then they have other people do stuff. And it's like, I would love that. If people want to come around and go like paint a bunch of sticks like blue and then plant them in some lot and call them trees and like make a Insta park, like we did. It's like, I realized maybe not the way was trying to get other artists to help, but it's like, I would be out in that lot, dicking around, and random people off the street would come and ask me if I wanted help. And that was like amazing, because I was like, yeah, if you guys want it, if I'm inspiring you, and they were like, what are you doing? And that was the thing, is like, I wanted to inspire that creativity, that question, what am I doing? And let's make something together.
That's one of my favorite things about the area that we live in. The Northwest Seattle kind of area is so freaking reliable for that, for the help and just general curiosity mixed with generosity. Somebody's interested in what you're doing and they want to help with it, and that is, I have seen some amazing shit in this area pertaining to that directly, and that is fucking amazing.
Well, for a good example, like, we're a good friend of ours, Michael Arndt. Like,
Michael's a phenomenal human, by the way.
Yeah, amazing artist himself, does assemblage, does welding, his amazing wife Debbie also does art, mosaics and tin stuff and everything like that. Michael got in with the Friends of the Library park over in Greenwood, and had a bunch of us, when the buildings were going to get before they got torn down, paint on the plywood that was covering the windows. And there was a mom and her teenage daughter walked by, and they're like, can we help? And we're like, yeah. And she did these amazing like potato bugs or potatoes,
so
and
much
like
fun. Yeah,
and it's just like the fact that people, that's the cool thing, is like sharing. Like, art doesn't have to be expensive, and it can be free, and it can be impromptu. And if someone wants to jump in and do what we're doing with us, that's awesome. I understand if I'm doing like,
I have to put that out, because that's one of my favorite things. That and the saying that anybody can be an artist.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but anyone. And
anyone.
You have, but one of the interesting things is you have to try.
Yeah.
You have to do things. You have to break outside of what you know to understand these things and then work really, really hard at them.
Yeah.
Like you and I both know your first piece was not as good as the previous piece you just did.
No, not at all. And that's
that's one of those things. It's a lot like working. You know, even in a 40-hour job, you fucking suck at the beginning, and then you get to a point where you are perfect at it and you're trying to do better things if it's something that interests you.
it doesn't get easier, but what it is like there's always more, whatever things that come up in life, but I think it's like the more knowledge, like you're saying, at a job, you're used to like, God, I've done that before, so I know when this happens, this is probably going to happen, and you have that experience that helps you along the way, and you're like, I'm not confused about things that I used to be. You're like, oh, that's routine, we know that that's going to happen. But it's like, I think, talking about like art and stuff like that, a lot of people ask me like, what is my strength, whatever my weakness is, whatever. And my thing is like, I consider myself like a creative person, and that's my creativity and the want to create stuff. All the other skills, whether it's woodworking or, anything that I've done, silkscreen, painting, that's all time. I mean, you just have to put the time into it. Some people are those artists where they can pick up a pencil from the first time or when they're in high school, and they can draw someone's portrait, or they can draw something that looks realistic. And those people have like a different way of seeing. I'm not that artist that picked up, how to paint, how to draw like really easily and really realistic. But I've learned through a great friend that I had a great color sense, and so that once I built that up as a strength and realizing I use that. But creativity, I mean, anything, I want to do stuff. I want to woodwork. I want to eventually learn how to weld. I just love building stuff. I love making things. I've always had that desire to do that, and it keeps me alive, and it keeps me from being bored. And it's just like, it's a great gift to have,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I was recently thinking like a fun plan for me, hopefully for the future of this, is I can connect with some of these artists that I'm interviewing, not really interviewing, but just sitting around talking. But like you, okay, let's say I could help instigate a program with say Evergreen College. They're a very art friendly place. If you could get local artists in there to discuss to people who are going to college for, like, do you think if you now could go back and talk to you when you were in college and explain a lot of these art processes to you in just a couple days, that would have benefited you?
It's like school in 48 hours. Like,
well, it's not that. It's they already have an art teacher, and it's like if we can get the art professor or teacher or whatever to bring in local artists to discuss what they're interested in. And I know that they already do that, but there's a funding issue. So it's like if I could help generate something that would just get people out there just to talk about it, just to inspire young minds like yourself or Mallory or Claudio or fucking definitely anybody that we know, Brandy, any of them.
I used to have a teacher friend, and I would go. They paid me like $50, and they were great. But at one of the art institutes, I could go in, and I'd do it for free. It was just It was mainly just having the honor to talk to kids who,
Hold on, 1 second, real quick. Is there any chance you can carry this on by yourself for just a second while I go pee?
No, I think we're just going to pause. I don't think I'm just going to sit and talk while you're not here. That's weird.
But you were just talking to the tree anyways.
You motherfucker.
I had to do it. All right.
Yeah, I was talking. Rob's talking. This is Rob talking with trees.
We're going to pause for a few seconds. This will be our second pause in this episode. Hey, pound on the second pause.
Second pause.
Second pause. I'm going to go make a tinkle, and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Unless Rob's okay, I'll just go pee off the deck.
You do whatever you need to do.
No, I'll just pause.